Hey guys, this is Drona with my low-level amateur threes team, the Twisted Threes, and I'm going to be commentating another 3v3 ranked game. In this game, I'm going to be playing Kayle along with my jungler on Sion and top laner on Renek against their bot laner Morgana, jungler Master Yi, and top laner Dr. Mundo. So one of the things that you'll notice about this game is that it's not the greatest play across either team. For one reason or another, we just my team just does not especially me. I just do not do a good job of capitalizing, positioning, but the game stays pretty even throughout. So what you'll see is just some interesting things I wanted to take a look at, see exactly what happened and why it happened. So laning phase, it's just me versus Morgana with Renek versus Mundo up top. So one of my goals here is to try and use my fury only to harass Morgana and keep the wave close to me and just last hit with my auto attacks. But I'm not quite able to do that. I really need to practice doing that a lot more. Okay, and what you can see is that Renek is pushed in on his Mundo a lot. He's been having a lot of really great trades. And this means that he's up front, so Yi's going to try and curl back around on him. That gets spotted out really easily by us, and so he backs out without taking really any damage. I floated up a little bit just to sort of see what I could do, see if I could get him out of there, but nothing really happened in that exchange. So we go back to farming. Okay, so here we see that he gets a nice stun and he does an enormous amount of damage and manages to get just the last hit off. But problematically, my lane was pushed, which happened during the last engage with Yi. So I was really far out of position to try and come and help him, and Morg was able to get there much more quickly than I was. Now, what I should have done here is hold my Q for Yi, but I was afraid that he was going to be pretty far back and that Morg would use her black shield on him anyway. So I thought maybe I could bait out the, I just wildly misplayed this on a number of levels. But because my Q's on a relatively low cooldown, we managed to get it anyway. And so we managed to secure the kill. And then we just back out because we know that Mundo's back up, and that a Morg Q plus Mundo engage could mean the end of at least Sion. Anyway, so back to farming, and you'll see I don't do a great job of CSing versus the Morgana, which is ludicrous considering how weak her CS ability, the pool, is relative to mine, which is much more well targeted. Okay, so we see some trades again. So Mundo's built pretty defensive, and he'll He stays pretty defensive throughout the whole game. I'm going to be going for my basic build, but I'm going to rush Morellonomicon because of the Mundo. I want to make sure that I have that. So here we try for another engage, but the problem is that Renek, seeing that he was about to get ganked, tried to retreat through Spider. So like I said, we communicate extremely poorly throughout this game. So what could have happened is Renek, having harassed Mundo pretty far down, we should have called him down immediately to then, as soon as we found out that the Yi was there, because he's not level 6, he can't get away. His Q was down. We could have easily killed him. And here we'll see again Renek being pushed out of lane by Yi. And so just a series of bad plays. Okay, then I back out of lane, I'm low. And there, so Yi is just a much better jungler than, excuse me, a much faster jungle clear than Sion. He's one of the fastest in the game. And so what should have happened is we should have tried to set up a little bit, try and set up fights a little bit earlier, because otherwise Sion's going to fall pretty far behind in terms of just gold accumulation. And that's one of our weaknesses as a team in general, is just is trying to pick the right fight. So here, for example, I'm still pushing my lane, and then let's see. So Sion then tries to set up a forward position. Mundo steps out of lane. And as is sort of common with us, we don't really follow our lane partners. So I get some harassed down on Mundo. But since he's 6, none of that really ends up mattering. And so here we see Yi setting up for a gank, trying to interrupt us as we go through lane. But he sees 2 of us coming up, so he backs out. And so Sion uses so what you see here. Oh, let's go through this a little bit. So Mundo gets. Okay, so Sion catches Mundo in his Q, but then misjudges the direction that Mundo is going to escape from battle. So he misses the subsequent slow. I don't want to be stuck in the Morg ult, so I back out. And so I wanted to get in there to ult the Renek, so I flashed in for that, and we're able to pick up the Yi for that. But the problem is that now our Renek is pretty far back. I don't know if I necessarily agreed with the way that he backed out, because I think that we could have used his damage, especially the AoE burn that was from his ult, and you'll see that we're just unable to deal the damage. Just another auto attack on Morg would have done it, but I can't walk under tower with her Q still up. Actually, I don't think her Q was up. I think she used it. So right here, I think she turns back around and then uses her Q. Yeah, she does. So I should have walked under tower and just given her another auto attack. So that was. I mean, again, like I said, we're just not a good night for us. So I should have been auto attacking more frequently during the course of that fight instead of trying to essentially play utility Kayle. But we're able to take a kill and we're able to secure the altar, which is net positive for us. So we then get out of there because Yi's coming back up and he has strong executability, so we don't want to feed him. And you can see even with 2 deaths, Yi is pretty handily out farming Sion in the jungle, just because of the nature of his very quick clear. And I'm still unable to really capitalize on my strengths as Kayle to do this. So now Mundo and Yi go in on Sion alone in the jungle, and Sion just can't trade with Yi. So here's a big problem. So we see my lane partner here, and we see Mundo in the jungle, but we don't collapse. I mean, they're on our side of the map, but we have no motion towards our jungle. So Renek stays on Mundo, and I idiotically Q Yi, which does absolutely nothing. And so now all of this time I should be auto attacking and stutter stepping away, but I wanted to try and get out of there to avoid getting Q'd by Morgana and then getting executed by Yi. So that was a wild failure to collapse. It was just really poorly done by us, and it's one of many areas in which we don't rotate the way we really should. And I mean, obviously, that a lot of it has to do with just our mechanical weakness as low-level players. Okay, and here, I mean, I'm Kayle, so I can push the wave off the tower without much of an issue. And Renek has pushed top wave into their tower, which is good for us. Hopefully, we'll be able to deny them some CS. Now, this is one of the things that we've started to notice in our tier of play is that junglers will start out with a vision item, especially if there's no bush check mechanism on their team, and the value of that is questionable. Is simply because they have the Morg Q and the Mundo cleaver. But on our team, where we have relatively limited ways to check for enemy ganks, it could be valuable. I don't know. It's something that we've been debating as a team. So now we have neither altar, and we're just trying to push the lanes, trying to get a catch where we can. So that Q missed. Otherwise, we might have been able to go on Morg. Our primary goal being to collapse onto Yi. So here we're trying to set up onto Yi if we can. But our altars come back up. We're going to go pick that up and continue pushing waves. Again, we just can't make really good engage decisions. We're not very good at that. It's something that we're continuing to work on as a team. Okay, so this was, we managed to catch Mundo, but we just didn't have quite enough interrupt and stun between us to finish the job. Okay, and with my ult up, I'm able to mitigate the vast majority of the damage that they do. That forces them to walk through Renek, and gets them killed. Now that was again a pretty sloppy engage by us. We should have tried to ult the Yi perhaps. I mean, that was a situation in which we just I think our rotations were just not quick enough. We need to be better with our overall game sense. But at least I managed to cast my ult. It was on point. We did a pretty good job. So one of the other things that we have issues with is just knowing sort of where to be at any given time. And you'll see that we wander the map a little bit lost. So you'll see me here up top while Morg is pushing bottom lane. I took top lane farm. Now I'm going to take bottom lane farm. Renek trades with the Mundo. Okay, I can push out bottom lane pretty trivially. But without them on the map, I don't want to step too far forward. Okay, now we see that Yi's Highlander is down, so we want to try and engage into this window. Again, this is very poor mechanical players at our level, so it was a big mistake for him to use it then. And so with it down, that's sort of like our window to engage. So I don't know why we didn't collapse faster. Like we should have engaged almost immediately. But what happened was that we delayed, which caused me to take damage, so I had to back out a little bit. So what I should have done is note that Yi was is note that Yi was using his passive, whatever, and I shouldn't have queued him because, I mean, he was going to be standing still for, as long as, or excuse me, his channeled heal. He was going to be standing still throughout all of that, so there was no conceivable reason for me to just do that. Okay, so with that kill, what we should have immediately done is Yi's coming back up in 3 seconds. Just leave. There's no conceivable reason for us to still be here. We should. So we will manage to get this kill onto Morg, but now we should have gone, and that's, I mean, that's a terrible place to back. Like the minions can, and the tower can spot us heading into that bush. It just made no sense. So we gifted Yi, unfortunately, 2 kills. I think turning onto Morg was acceptable just because you know, Yi wasn't quite up yet, and I think we felt like we had the room to back out after that. Okay, and so now this engage by Yi cracks me up because he uses his Highlander, comes in, and then immediately backs out. So I don't have to blow my ult. His ult is down, and again, what we should have kept. What we should do is, I don't know, be in a position where we can really chase. Unfortunately, like the heroes that we play, you know, we without the Sion ult, we're not in a position to really chase down and lock them down. Like Renek has you know, a decent amount of mobility, but it's sort of like within a single fight. So here, Renek will be behind enemy lines. Might have been able to lock down the Mundo and maybe get something done there, but Mundo dodged toward Morg, and that you know, I didn't want to engage into that. So here we go. So with the Sion ult, we're able to lock down the Mundo, and then with the incredible damage of the Renek and my burn, we're able to take him out. Okay, and so he uses Highlander to escape. He hits his Yomus, which does nothing for him. And so their incredibly poor decision making has allowed us to you know, really stay into this game. So Yi engages on all 3 of us. Morg steps in, ults all of us, which is good on her part. And that nets 2 deaths, unfortunately, just because of the stun that happened at the end of the Morgana ult combined with the Yi damage. I don't know if there was. So I think the thing to do is I should have been there when they started the fight, which would have allowed us to burn down the Yi. Oh, I guess I am there. I thought I was further away. Oh no, I think what happened, what I should have done is I should have been there to capture the altar so that we could have backed out more quickly. But the problem is that because we spend so long dallying around the altar, we're unable to really close it down. And Morg flashes after us to really secure the kills, so they are able to take our altar in retaliation. And then this is bad by me. So what I should have done is Mundo comes under tower, and I whatchamacallit, I exhausted him. As soon as I exhausted him, I should have asked for the Sion ult. I don't know if it was up, but it was bad of me to not call for that, which means that they get a free kill for absolutely no reason. But Sion has his frozen heart, which hopefully mitigates Yi's damage. I like the icon for that now that you can actually see what's going on a little bit more clearly. Okay, so just push, push, push. Again, trying to get our altar back, trying to get a good engage. And those for our team, especially our comp, good engages tend to be lane engages where we can close in on someone and just shut them down with Sion's ult. It's really our primary engage tool. So here we have Mundo pretty far out. What would have been nice is to try and engage on one of them. So this was really stupid by Yi. So we're able to just burn him down, and now we'll be hopefully able to close on everyone else. Because Morg's black shield was down, she just used it on Yi. I Q'd her, and I'm able to follow. But they have an enormous amount of disengage. So here's where the decision making sort of differed between me and the team. So what I wanted to do is ult Renek and have him follow through the tower. He's tanking tower, follow through the tower, and then into the back line where we can then trap them under the tower. But instead, my teammates back out. That leads me to die, and there's no conceivable way that actually, I think they will be able to turn this on, at least the Morg, because of Renekton's pretty significant damage output. But with his ignite down, they're not going to be able to take out the Mundo. Mundo uses Ghost. Just tries to trap them in the spider pit using his cleaver. So I mean, they're not a very good team. Their Yi's engages have been, sort of all over the place, and our inability to really play well, kept this game going an extraordinarily long time. And you can see the farm discrepancy. So Renekton is up 50 farm on Yi, but Yi's up 80 farm on Sion, and that's just the nature of the champion. Sion is, looking for engages, whereas Yi is. And this is ludicrous. Why they wouldn't Q and engage on me? Like, that doesn't make any sense. So. I mean, I shouldn't have walked that way. They should have engaged. It's all over the place. I actually did bring an exhaust, but I don't remember using it frequently on the Yi, which is really where I should have been focusing it. So here we try and see what we can do with Spider, because we saw a couple of them bot lane. The other interesting thing for Yi might have been a Teemo, but I think their Yi pick was last. Simply because a blind would have made. Okay, so here we try. So we push out our lanes. We have our lanes pretty set up, and now we try and set up for an engage. And this is a series of fights that goes poorly for us. And so Sion is just scouting out. So he Qs into that bush or whatever button, and just takes with Youmuu's plus. Why was I so deep? It's just insane. Like, my positioning is just all over the place. So, and this, I did not need to lose my life here. I should have immediately. I was pressing my Wooglets as I was stepping up under the. So, right here, I clicked my Wooglets and wasn't unable to get the activation off, because I think there's just some maybe button lag. I don't know. I've had that experience once or twice before. I need to be a little bit more proactive. The problem is I had such low HP. There's no conceivable way that unless I was under tower that he'd leave me alone. That fight was was sloppy from beginning to end. It's like I said, our positioning just all over the place. Like I shouldn't have been close enough to get ulted by Morg. That didn't make any sense for my positioning to be that way. I just don't need to be that close in order to deal damage. On top of that, you know, it's when Yi engaged with his Highlander plus Yomos, I think the best move might have been at that point for Sion just to turn around and start fighting, because he took a lot of free damage with and was unlikely to be able to get away. And since he's our tank, I mean, that's a free initiate for us, so we might have been able to turn that fight a little bit harder. But I mean, with Renekton's damage output, and Renekton did a lot of work during the course of this game, we were still able to get a lot done. And, you know, Kayle's pushing power has been pretty helpful as we are able to take out, you know, deal a lot of damage to that bottom tower. I actually don't remember exactly when that happened, but I just think overall, as we've been pushing and they've been trying to set up for ganks, it's happened. So now we're just waiting out the spider buff. And so we can see Mundo now in our jungle. And so okay, so here Yi finally engages, but we've dealt so much damage to Mundo by this point that he's unable to really tank for their team. And then that means that they lose 2 champions for hour 1, because Renekton is able to step out and I'm able to then clean up the Mundo. It was again, they're not the greatest team, neither are we. They made some really weird engage decisions, so I just decided to take their altar. I knew I had to dodge the Morg Q. That was really my only job. If I would have pooled first, it would have made it difficult for me to stay on the altar while taking it. Maybe, I don't know, maybe Q was the right decision, but no, I was able to dodge it, therefore take the altar. Okay, push, push, push. Harass, harass, harass. Now, we're trying to set up for a fight, and they are too. So they see me, they want to wrap around onto me. I think that's their goal here. Yeah, here we go. That's their goal. And so now they catch Sion. And we're split. And so with Renekton's ult down, we should have left. His we just have nowhere near the same engage potential with his ult down. I don't know if we try and fight this, but it would be a mistake to do so. So there, Yi does a good job of avoiding most of my damage during the first little bit. Then he's able to then heal as we then sit in the burn from Mundo, which allows him to then clean us up. So yeah, without the Renekton AoE, we just can't deal enough damage to all of their targets to really burn everyone down. But because Mundo has built nothing but defensive items, he deals garbage, like absolutely no damage to towers, so is really unable to push an objective after winning the fight. Okay, and so Mundo, again, just like really far out of position. There's like no conceivable reason for him to be there. I realize he's the tank, but it doesn't make a ton of sense. So now we try and engage with Mundo's ult down. We have their Master Yi out, and so now we just go in. And look at my positioning. It's just so fucking awful. Like, why am I so deep? Anyway, we take out their Yi for 50 seconds. Death timers are, it's 35 minutes into the game. Death timers are forever. And now we take out the tower. and see what else we can get. I think now we either go for Spider or their altar. I can't remember which. Okay, here we're going for Spider. Okay, so we take Spider just as Mundo checks us out. So now we go back to get some last items. Hopefully prep for a death push here. And I think the appropriate thing to do would have been to especially if we're looking for a fight, I think the appropriate thing to do might be to group as 3 and just try and push into their tower and force them to engage on us. The problem with that is that I'm actually, even at this level, still pretty terrified of a Highlander Youmuu's Yi. I tried to pick that away with my Q, was unable to do so. Okay. So, lucky for us, they push in. They're waiting out our Spider just as we waited out theirs, and we're just not doing that much to capitalize. Like I said, we should have stuck together. Ooh, that was just a huge miss. Oh, so Yi comes in without Morgana, and that's a big mistake. So here, like this miss, we missed the Mundo, but we're able to get him with a Q. And this Yi coming in without Morg, we just were able to deal him so much damage, magic damage. It was a huge mistake for him to come in without the Morg. So now I just step out of the ult so I don't get stunned. And then now with Renek just dealing massive amounts of AoE damage, I'm just gonna dodge around the Mundo, trying not to take damage from him. Through our minions, while our other teammates take him down. And so now we've aced them. We have me up. I've built the Rage Blade plus the Gnasher's Tooth. And so I mean I can just absolutely burn down towers, and we have some really thick tanks to tank the towers for me. So. Renek is no slouch in the tower destroying business either, with a Bork that he built pretty early in this game. Okay. And so it's hard to learn a lot from that game. I mean, it was not really well done by us. I think the big takeaways there are just positioning. I mean, we just need to know where to be on the map, and that's been a big struggle of ours. I think the goal will be to try and just engage. Like, if we see someone out on the map, like we have a Kayle, there's no reason to be afraid of their tanks. Especially if they're out alone. Forcing out a fight on our terms, I think, is something that we should try and do a little bit more often, and just see what happens. See if we can make things work. Okay, until next time.